Hi, everyone. Surprise, surprise. And no, this is not Dunk with my avatar. Welcome, everybody, to Ukraine Update. This is Annette, if you don't already know me. Dick is out with some sinus issues today. And so I will be hosting today. And all super chats will go to the therapy sessions for the panel for after they survive today. So we've got a great panel for you today. As you see, we've got Starsky, we've got Canty, we've got Slavi, who is also streaming on her channel. We've got Commander McMillan. And also, as we go on, we will hopefully be able to get Roman in and a couple stopper inners. And on our news desk, we have Sakai. So welcome, everybody. We're going to start with Starsky today. Welcome back again and give us your update.
Thank you so much. Roman will join us in just a second. He has a call and then he will be joining our stream as well. What did we see this week happening in Ukraine and in Russia? So Russian refineries and several Russian factories, specifically in Rostov Oblast and in St. Petersburg, were visited by good Ukrainian drones who reminded Russians that reckless smoking always leads to some freaking fires and explosions. That's exactly what we could see. But the coolest news, the coolest update of the past 24 hours is that Ukrainian forces managed to capture two North Koreans alive. As we probably know from our updates since last week earlier, there was already a case when one of the North Koreans was captured and delivered to Ukrainian hospital. Unfortunately, he didn't survive due to his wounds, but these two feel fine. They are currently in Kyiv in the jail that is managed by the security service of Ukraine. One of them had passport that was given to a Russian citizen, right? And then it was given to this dude. The other one didn't have any documents. Interesting thing, though, is that one of them says that they didn't know that they were going to fight against Ukraine. They thought that they were going to Russia to participate in the military exercise, which is exactly what we've heard from every Russian invader that was captured early during this invasion. When they invaded Ukraine in February, March, April, when we were capturing them, they were saying that they didn't know that they were going to, invade Ukraine. They thought that they were going to military exercise, which sounds like a bad lie, actually. Like that, I believe that they were told to lie about same stuff. So I really hope to see more updates from more updates about those two. I believe that soon there will be probably a press conference of some sort that we can expect to see in Kyiv. Another interesting thing is that those North Koreans don't speak English because learning English is a deathly sin in North Korea. It's forbidden absolutely to learn English. So we have to use the Korean interpreters. So I'm really looking forward to see that interview or that press conference really soon. And I believe that we also have my bro Roman here joining the chat. Roman, how are you?
Starsky, I'm good. Hey, everybody.
Welcome,
Nice
Roman.
to see you.
Why don't you give us an update on everything on your side?
On my dark side?
No, on your side, not dark side. How are you feeling these days? Everybody who loves you just wants to know how you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much. Just maybe some of you know that we have big fundraising and we almost finished it. Like some friends donate 20,000 euro, and it's like 80 out of 90,000. So for this evening, and I feel so like proud of our big fundraising and all the foreigner supporters. So my health is still bad, but my mood is all right because we have opportunity to do a great job for soldiers on the front line. So thank you for asking. How are you doing, guys?
I don't think Roman actually doesn't. I'm going to take a minute. Roman, you don't know me. I'm actually behind the scenes on the Shills. I'm usually doing all the team things. So, and I've been with the Shills for about 3 years, and I do have my own stream, but most of the time you don't see me out live or anything. So that's who I am. So it's lovely to meet you. I see
What's your name? I can see it on the
Annette.
Annette.
Annette. Mm-hmm. Annette.
Annette. Nice to meet you, Annette.
Nice
I'm Roman.
Meet you too. Let's go to Slavi.
Yeah, I'm in LA and we're amongst wildfires right now, and still the winds are still crazy, so not sure how everything's gonna go, but we're under evacuation warning. There's been a lot of misinformation and disinformation surrounding the wildfires. And of course, Elon Musk and Don Jr. are the ones pushing it and blaming Ukraine. That the Los Angeles Fire Department back in 2022 donated a lot of firefighter stuff and gear to Ukraine, which yes, they did, but that gear was meant to be destroyed anyway, just like what United States is doing with the tanks and stuff. It was out of commission, so they donated. It wasn't even a bunch of it, but they did donate it to Ukraine. And now Ukraine is at fault for the wildfires here in Los Angeles, which is absolutely ridiculous. And all I want to ask you guys, if you guys see that kind of propaganda, please, counter it, because it's important. MAGA is all over it. They're blaming everything on Ukraine, but this is completely outrageous. Also, they're blaming the shortage of water in Los Angeles on Ukraine. I haven't figured that one out. How?
Sorry, guys.
You guys are digging really deep wells. That must be it.
I don't know. Must be stealing water from the Pacific or something like that. But Russian propaganda has quite the imagination. So yeah,
I've got some. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, for anyone who hears propaganda like that from MAGA, from pro-Trump people, I want you to go find, because I've seen so many of them, all the articles, references, children choirs from Moscovia talking about invading and taking back Alaska. Just start playing that ad nauseum to them and show them who their real enemy is.
Well, my go-to was the or Washington carrying around the ballistic missile in Moscow.
I did see some articles yesterday, because I've been following the fires. If those that some people know this, but I used to live in San Diego, and I was evacuated 2 times, and one fire did damage my home. So it's very near and dear to me and close for what's happening there, because I know what people have gone through. But I did see some headlines that said so-and-so proving MAGA wrong about the origin of the fires. So it's out there. So like Sakai said, grab those articles and start pushing them out there. So let's go to Canty. It's so nice to be on with you, Canty. Tell us about what's happening in your frozen part of the world.
Not much here. No snow. So unfortunately, I had bad news from Ukraine yesterday. The lady that's been basically coordinating for some of the stuff I've been doing in Ukraine got a job. I know that doesn't sound like bad news, but that means she won't be working with the organization anymore. So trying to fill some big shoes.
But good for her that she hopefully got what she wanted. But you're so wonderful. You'll get people to help you. I just know you will.
Either that, or I just have to go there myself and do it myself.
Mm-hmm. Let's turn to Commander McMillan. What's going on in your part of the world and your thoughts about current events?
My part of the world, it's chilly but not freezing, and it's raining a lot, which is very normal for this part of the Pacific Northwest. What's going on in the world? I think the most notable stuff going on in Ukraine, according to the Institute for Study of Warfare, is the front right now seems to be kind of stable. I know the Russians are doing their usual small incremental gains for horrendous cost. There was a recent offensive by the Ukrainians in Kursk Oblast, and it gained a little bit of ground. But unlike the Russians, not at significant cost. It's like they're doing something right. There was a significant missile strike into Rostov-na-Donu, where they hit a major ammo dump, Russian ammo dump. So that will probably cause some difficulty trying to keep the offensives in the center section moving.
So should we talk about the orange shit gibbon that's in the room?
Oh God. Yeah, let's do that.
No, there's an article that came out yesterday that says that now Trump has turned from "I'm going to stop the war in 24 hours" to "I'm going to stop the war in 100 days." So I didn't see any details, but I had to bring that up because of your wonderful pet name for him, Commander.
The one thing that's interesting is Putin and the Russian Foreign Ministry have again issued yet another statement saying, "Oh yes, we're open to a U.S./Western negotiated peace settlement," but then they say, "But we're not moving on any of our demands," which is effectively Ukraine must cease to exist for us to agree to a peace deal. You know, the idea that Trump is going to somehow magically broker an end to the fighting seems ridiculous. So I think he's just making noises to keep himself in the news.
Exactly. One of my
Slavi's had something to say.
Okay. What if I'm hearing her? Go ahead, Slavi.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say that Putin and Trump, they have a meeting coming up really soon.
Yeah.
And remember, we're dealing with that limited attention span guy. So whoever speaks in his ear last probably gets to drive the story until somebody else speaks. So he'll come out of the meeting with Putin saying, "Oh yeah, Putin's great, and we have this complete solution to how we're going to do things," and then people are going to talk to him and, well, maybe not, maybe it will be 100 days, or just, you know.
I think the silver lining in this too.
A good grasp on reality, I think, is a simple thing to put it.
I just want to mention one thing, that the silver lining in this, and I have so much admiration for President Zelensky, is he is standing up and saying, "You know what? I can work this out. I can work this out with Trump." And I honor him so much because he is looking at the silver lining, and that's really all we can do right now. So, you know, kudos to him for taking the high road on this and just saying, "You know what? No matter what happens, we'll try to work on it."
I think he's also figured out the secret recipe of how to manipulate Trump to his advantage. And it basically boils down to Trump loves to hear people praise him. And so whenever he gets into a room, you know, with Trump, Zelensky just, you know, "Oh, you're so great. You're so good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things." And so it ends up leaving Trump with this favorable impression of the guy. I mean, anybody with two brain cells to rub together can probably tell that it's all flattery, but not Trump. He needs that, you know, positive ego reinforcement all the time.
Yeah. Oh, and I'd like to add a quick follow-up to this, that the planned meeting between Trump and Putin is coming on the heels of Slovakia Fico. Fico from Slovakia recently had met with Putin as well. So, I mean, there's a couple of things happening regarding meetings with several different world leaders. I am happy to say, though, that apparently there's a sizable protest against Fico and his policies, trying to get closer to Russia and Slovakia. So that's at least some good news.
Starsky, what's your take on all this?
I would like to correct my friend Secular Sakai a bit. It's not Fico, it's Fico. Fico, Fica in Italian actually means something very, very bad. You don't say that around children. But what I can say about the upcoming negotiations? Trump was saying about 100 days. He also mentioned like half a year already. So as we can see, and it was pretty much damn obvious in autumn 2024 that it's impossible to settle this war in 24 hours. But I believe that it's impossible to settle this war in general, because Russian goal is to destroy Ukraine, secure the western border along Carpathian Mountains, and basically eliminate Ukrainian identity. And they want to do it fast. What fast means for Russians, it's basically probably like within the next year, because year 2026 will be pretty much critical for Russia in terms of being capable of continuing this war against Ukraine. So this freezing conflict is not an option at all. And for Putin, freezing conflict is not an option, even considering the fact that he can basically wait a year or two, increase his army, increase the number of his vehicles and things like that, and invade again. But I don't really see that happening. What I can see is that he will continue trying to slowly grab the Donetsk Oblast the way he does now, because they calculated the amount of men they can sacrifice for this. They calculated the amount of men that they can recruit to replace the losses, and they can basically keep this process running, keep burning some specific number of people on a monthly basis, and recruiting approximately the same number of people at the same time. Why it's also not acceptable for Putin is because Putin's terrorist state is currently running they're working for war. All of his industries, all of his enterprises, they are working to back up the front. This gives some employment, right? This benefits them in terms of employment. This benefits them in terms of industry, because one way or another, war is something that keeps their economy running at this point. And if this stops, basically collapse is awaiting the terrorist federation very, very soon. Maybe sooner than in 2026. That's again just my opinion, but I don't really see this negotiation resulting into something like freezing conflict in the foreseeable future. Another thing is, of course, Ukrainian standpoint, because it also involves us, right? And Ukrainian people will not negotiate, giving up our territories. It's not an option, even though the number of people who supported the idea in Ukraine of giving up territories in order to stop the war, even though this number is growing, but it doesn't grow dramatically in Ukraine. As far as I remember, the recent polls still showed that 60 or more than 70% Ukrainians still continue the idea to keep fighting until the Russian withdrawal from the Ukrainian territory. So we are not going to give up the land easily. This is our home. And we want Russia to be punished. We want justice to be served because Russians are terrorists. And if they receive this land, if their occupation of Ukraine is legitimized, then basically any other terrorist in the world can do whatever he likes.
Yep.
Slavi,
Starsky.
you still have friends in Ukraine, and you're always on top of all the politics. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of family in Kharkiv, and they're just sick from the war, obviously, and yeah, they just want it over. And it's, they're a little worried about Trump, kind of handing Ukraine to Putin, but that's a lot of talk around that. That's all what I can say. But
And rightfully so that they're concerned, for sure. Roman, I'd like to get your view on what you think about Trump and the plan. And are you just wanting this all over, or do you want to wait till there's less compromises? Where are you at on this?
I don't know. For me, it's pretty hard to predict Trump's behavior because I don't know. Actually, it's some kind of kindergarten all over the world because Zelensky tried to flatter Trump because Trump ego's effect on Trump's action, and this is like sometimes looks like we're really talking about some, I don't know, some school, some kids stuff, not like serious grown-up men. And unfortunately, because of them, a lot of people's lives depends. And actually, I just watched the news, what's going on with the USA president, and I just wish one day Canada won't ask Ukrainian soldiers to defend their territory and independence, because it's become so crazy that probably, unfortunately, there are a lot of bad stuff happen all over the world, and from what I see, less and less people and politics talk about Ukraine, and it's pretty bad for us because bad stuff happens not only in Ukraine but with in all geopolitical fronts. So and of course for me it's I haven't enough data for predict any events, but I just want to say I'm really glad to live in such legendary times, because so many different stuff happens, and maybe previous generation wasn't have had so many events every single day. It's become something really huge, I believe, because it's exponential, it's every single day some shock news appears. So but I like the way how Starsky sings, because seems like he's still secret agent and he have access to secret information, because this guy knew a lot. I don't know how.
Now he's got he was Operator Starsky. Now he's 007 Starsky.
Yes, now I'm Operator Starving.
Yes, you're starving. Starving for news?
Oh, we're going for food talk now.
Starving for food. Seriously, that is the nickname my lady gave me the other day when we were out here in the Christmas market. Holy shit, European Christmas markets, they look so unusual. We do have something like that in Ukraine, in Kyiv. I'm sure that Roman also visited a lot of them. But here it's it's different. There's so many people. Yeah, but besides that, what I can say, situation demands people to grow up. I completely agree with Roman. Situation requires people to be more sober in making their decisions, and um, but the problem is we are not there yet. Some time must pass. Some, unfortunately, sacrifices should be made before people really start realizing what's going on out there, and like how they should act. Ukraine went through this already. In Ukraine, we had absolutely the same situation. 2010, Viktor Yanukovych elected. Everybody's shocked, like what the hell, And this dude was so embarrassing and so ridiculous, and we had to go through the revolution of dignity in order to grow up and in order to become more serious and more sober and face reality, not through the television, not through the Russian media, but the way it is, right? And realize who is our friend, who is not really our friend. But I feel like I have this bad feeling, that something similar is expecting citizens of the United States, a lot of citizens of European Union as well, and we have to go through this. But I have good news that West generally is so developed and has such a level of life as it does. Not because people who live in the Western countries are stupid. Unlike in Russia, we are driven by different values, not by violence and shit like that, but we're driven by different values that are dear to us, and I'm sure that we can withstand this, and in the end, we will definitely be victorious.
I agree with Starsky. And with regards to I guess kind of a Maidan moment, if you will, two countries that I look at to see if the ingredients for that seem like they're materializing would immediately be Sakartvelo, Republic of Georgia, because they're in the midst of something. I don't know if it'll be successful or not, but kind of similar. And the United States. The last time the United States had a government with this level of overt corruption, overt oligarchical status among members of its society was like the 1900s, right before World War I. And major changes happened at that time, and a lot of protests that scared a lot of people. So only time will tell how it all works out, but we're all part of the equation.
You're right. And for Roman, and I know Starsky knows this, but Roman, in the United States, those of us who don't like Trump, we know everybody needs to grow up. Our whole government needs to grow up. I've never seen such childish behavior in a government. I've seen it occasionally, but to go on for years and years and years, it's crazy. I'd like to take a break here and read out some super chats. We do have one question in there too as a super chat question, so we get to that. Let's see, we've got Petra Olsen, 129 Swedish krona. Thank you, Petra. You're such a wonderful supporter. You're here all the time. We just love you. Tyler Dowdy has a direct donation for $1.99. Kobe Jack gifted 5 Shills memberships, and welcome to the lucky winners of those. Those are random, by the way. We don't pick those, so you guys are truly lucky today. Darren Vaughn, $1.99. When is Annette going to smoke pot and chug beer? That answer is never. They exist. $5.22. This is a good question. With our actual knowledge into human nature, what will the Trump years give the world? Reactive expansion of good in most populations or evil? I think this is mostly an opinion question. So, Canty, we haven't heard from you. What do you think about this?
The last question about Trump.
Yeah, is it going to all these years? Is it going to result in good or evil, perpetual horribleness?
I think Trump's presidency is going to depend on how much money you make. If you live in the U.S. and you make over $150,000 a year, Trump's going to be great. If you're like 80% of America and you make less than that, it's going to suck.
Commander, what do you think?
That's an excellent way of putting it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think it's just Trump. I think the country in general has slowly over the past couple of decades been sliding right even further. And you see it with Democrats as well, where they'll talk good about social programs helping other people, but when you look at the actual legislation that gets introduced, it tends to all favor corporations and the wealthy. And, you know, you're starting to see increasing commentary from some of the wealthy set saying, look, we need to do a course correction here because we're building up to a lot of outrage against our class. And if we don't want to have something drastic happen, we need to do something. And I think, you know, if you look at, even though it's, you know, a crazy guy one-off case of the CEO getting shot by that guy a couple weeks ago, it's the same kind of thing. Is people are getting so frustrated and so alienated that they want to take action to do something to change things. But the system as it is currently in place is doing everything it can to resist that change.
I have an opinion on this, and I mean, obviously, any number of things could happen, but for a positive change, or at least a change in the opposite direction from the more right-leaning, both social and economic trends we've seen in the U.S., one of two things would need to happen. If the U.S. is going to avoid, by global definitions, not American definitions, an actual left party, meaning one that is more openly embraces policies that the U.S. has for a very long time had a very negative information campaign against, then you would need to have someone along the lines of a Teddy Roosevelt, a figure like that who makes changes that people would call socialist, but who isn't labeled a socialist, or the U.S. would just end up, you know, developing its own, you know, international definition left party at some point. At a certain point, it's unsustainable, and something gives.
Slavi, what are your thoughts on this? What's the world going to be like after the previous Trump years, the next 4 years? What's your opinion and vision of this?
I think it's going to be chaos. It's going to get a lot crazier. Keep in mind, in 2 years, Trump might lose control of, I think the Democrats will probably take the Senate or the House back. So that's what's most likely going to happen. I do hope that this craziness that Trump is doing right now with going to war, getting Panama Canal, going to war with Canada and whoever is next, or Greenland, is, you know, kind of a tactical move to, I know it's just saying it out loud is hilarious, but I hope it's a strategic move that he's doing to kind of, you know, scare away the enemy, the most unpredictable kind of move. I think Nixon did that previously, where he, you know, kind of played the unpredictability, kind of chaotic character. I hope that this is more strategic rather than just, you know, cuckoo. But I think we're going to be very, very divided as a nation. And I think our United States allies are very on the edge until, you know, and he didn't even take office yet. That's the crazy part. He's not even, and there's just so much happening. But I don't know. I hope there's some people in his office that will keep him a little grounded and show him the way. So,
Isn't there an old saying, say it's going to be a surprise a minute? Wake up every day and the world's going to be different. There is something, I want to, two things. Slavi.
Can I interject with something right away?
Sure,
Just
sure.
real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Slavi kind of hit on something there. Trump is and has always been in his business dealings an agent of chaos. That's how he gets ahead, is create such unpredictable chaos that nobody knows how to counteract what he's trying to do. That's what we're going to keep seeing over the next 4 years, is that kind of targeted chaos to keep people off balance and unable to formulate a viable strategy of resistance, if you will.
There was a thought came to my mind, and I don't know if anybody has heard of this. There was the name escapes me now. He's very outspoken about everything, and but there's a few Congress people that are actually forming, I hate to use the word shadow, but that's what they are, shadow committees that are looking at all the issues that Trump's committees will actually be looking at to see if there's an alternative and present those alternatives, because they know that the people that he is appointing for all the cabinets, they're just out there. It is going to be chaos with them in there. Has anyone heard about that? That there's going to be special committees, and they're not going to be official. They're just going to be looking at all these topics and saying, well, how do we handle this because of the way they're handling it?
I haven't looked into specifics, but I've heard a few inklings of what you're talking about, Annette. I can say this, as someone who's been plugged in with local, provincial, and state level parties in more than one country, including the US. A good example would be Democrats in the state of Texas. Anyone who knows anything about that state, the state level party is chaotic. It's not the most helpful, and it doesn't really do much for its various county subsidiaries. They have their own, I guess you could say, parallel volunteer-led structures that actually get things done the best that they can. So yeah, I imagine we'll probably see exactly that kind of not extra legal, but alternatives to actually just get shit done.
I'm hoping, I'm going to look for more information on this because I think it's going to be definitely something to watch. I wanted to actually mention too about Slavi. She is actually co-streaming on her channel. So if you haven't subbed to her yet, please go do so. I do see some fresh names and new people in the chat, so welcome. Chris will drop her link and head on over there. Have you reached 1,000 subs yet, Slavi?
3 more till 1,000.
3 more people. So 3 more. Whether you have a second account or you're new, please run over to Slavi's channel and get her to 1,000, and we'll celebrate today. Then we need to get her watch hours up. And again, I did write in the chat, this is Starsky and Roman aren't here for a full time today. So please, let's get some questions into them. They're here and they're ready to answer. So let's do this. There is a bit of a somber topic that we should bring up today. And then I do want to move on to something that's really going to bring everybody up a little bit. There was an article that came out just yesterday, and Sakai actually mentioned that he wanted to touch on this too. It was an article. let's see, let me get the source here. It was in The Guardian, and I think it's been in a few other sources. They profiled the Brits that have died fighting in Ukraine, and they did give a very nice mention to Peter Fouché, or Pete, and I think it's a good article. I can post it later on in the Discord. But Sakai, why don't you, since you saw this too, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about this article?
Yeah, in fact, let me go ahead and share the screen right quick. Here we go. Don't need audio. There we go. Okay. So, here from the Guardian, we have Britons who have unfortunately lost their lives fighting for Ukraine against Russia. And we're going to scroll down. Scott Sibley, 36. First British national killed fighting in the conflict, working as an HGV driver when Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. It served in Afghanistan as part of the Royal Logistics Corps, and then he heard news of the war, decided he wanted to use his military experience to help. Sibley, who has 3 children, died in a drone strike 2 months later. Scott would do anything to help anyone. His mother, Mary Sibley, told an inquest into her son's death. He had a good heart and was a good person. And I'm going to scroll through all the rest. Jordan Gatley, 24. Simon Lingard, 38. Chris Perry, 28. Andrew Bagshaw, 47. Jay Moray, 52. Jordan Chadwick, 31. Daniel Burke, 36. Samuel Newey, 22. Christopher Perryman, 38. Peter Fouché, 49, of Project Constantine. And South African-born Peter Fouché was a sniper in an elite Johannesburg police force before moving to London and becoming a taxi driver. He co-founded Project Constantine in 2022, a charity supplying vehicles, drones, uniforms, and food to Ukrainian soldiers on the front line, and later enlisted in the Ukrainian army. Project Constantine said after Fouché's death, Pete's unwavering dedication, endless compassion, and relentless commitment to Ukraine and her people have left an everlasting impact on the countless lives he touched. His heroism knew no bounds. And so, yeah, let's all be sure to remember Pete and all the rest of these Brits who gave their lives fighting for what's right, honestly, which transcends, international boundaries. And I'm going to read the rest of these out of respect for all soldiers on this list. Liam Love, 22.
Did we
Appears
lose?
to also have possibly been from Scotland. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Do you want me
sorry.
to read the description?
No, just go through the names. I lost you for a second. We're all good now.
Okay. Jake Waddington, 34. And yeah, that's all of them in this article. So again, they gave the ultimate sacrifice. So rest in peace, and most especially to Pete, who has touched a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely miss Pete. And I think this goes to show there are people from all over the world over in Ukraine volunteering, whether it's fighting or whether it's humanitarian work. And we just need to not forget them, because they're helping too. And every day they're out there doing good things for people who really, really need it. I kind of want to go on to something different that I haven't heard us cover on Ukraine Update before. And that is, we're going to fast forward, and let's hope that this war ends, Ukraine gets their lands back, and the rebuilding process can start. I have been kind of following through the years of amazing things that engineers and organizations are doing as far as making plans for the infrastructure. And I think Slava might know some of this, Starsky for sure, Roman. I've seen things where, so in case there are more attacks, the infrastructure, like the electrical grids, can't get blown up. They're starting to put them underground. There was one gentleman who had said that with all the destruction in Ukraine, it's actually a perfect way to start over and have the green buildings, green ecology, or obviously the ecology is green, but start over. And Ukraine could actually be an example for the rest of the world to build a better country, better infrastructure, better everything. Starsky, have you heard anything about this or seen anything?
Yes, I did, and I do actually. I know that there's a lot of architects working together with some particular Japanese gentlemen who are very, very skilled, and they created like a project for rebuilding the Kyiv Oblast cities like Irpin, Bucha, Hostomel. You know, I know about them. I'm pretty sure there are other organizations that are involved in upcoming rebuilding of other cities like Kharkiv, Zaporizhia. But since I worked mostly in the Kyiv Oblast, I can speak more about those people. And yeah, we have quite good opportunities, right, in the future to rebuild our country the way we want, so it would become an example to the rest of the world. But you know, buildings can be built and destroyed and rebuilt. Unfortunately, nobody returns back the people who died. That is a different thing. And, you know, when we talk about the future of Ukraine and future victory of Ukraine, to me personally, as much as I would like to celebrate that, but when I think about it, I have the same feeling I had in the end of the Revolution of Dignity, where I lost two of my friends, and a lot of our people died there as well during the late days under the sniper fire. And you know, when before the full-scale invasion, there was anniversary of the Revolution of Dignity. It was never like a celebration, because even though it was a successful revolution, we became a European nation. Our dictator fled. You know, a lot of his Russian and pro-Russian puppets also fled. But at the same time, it was always a sad anniversary. And I'm really not ready to think about the victory day for Ukraine, because even though this is something that we're working hard every single day to make it as close as possible, right? But at the same time, I'm not sure that we will be ever celebrating for real. I know that I will be drinking for 3 days, just alone, just on my own.
Decompressing. And I know people too that they're refugees in the United States from Ukraine, and even if the buildings are rebuilt and you can clean everything up, you can't bring the people back, and the memories are still there. So that was an excellent point there too. We do have some questions that came in. If I could go to that. let's see. Okay. Heather, backing up a little bit, Heather Wiley asks, is the refinery fire still raging in Iowa? Or in Russia? My God, my brain's on Iowa. It was going for 3 or 4 days after it was hit. Is this the refinery fire that you were talking about, Commander? Or
base in Russia, yeah, it's still going. It's actually spread to new oil tanks last night.
Okay.
So yeah, it's still going.
That's kind of good news.
So the report that came out that the fires were under control but still going is much exaggerated.
Well, just like all the drones were shot down and nothing hit their targets.
Of course.
President Zelensky did come out on the record, though, yesterday, saying that he's really happy about the sanctions hitting the oil and gas industry, and with all the destruction there, that in his opinion, he feels that it's all helping to stall out the war machine in Russia. So let the fires burn. Not good for the environment, but good for stalling out all the money that's going that Russia has. So we have another good question here. From Heidi High, I'd like to know what Operator Starsky thinks about the AfD in Germany. I saw a video of people protesting outside their conference there. Great panel as always. Thank you.
Oh yeah, so recently they decided to elect a person to be elected as as their candidate for the Chancellor of Germany. And she was crazy because first thing she offered was to restart the Nord Stream. And generally, this party, what is AfD? It's Alternative for Deutschland, Alternative for Germany. They have majority of their electorate from the Eastern Germany, which is surprising, but still. And what they promote is basically pro-Russian narratives, pro-Russian ideas, friendship with Putin and things like that. They also protest against immigrants in Germany. So basically, it's like the most radical MAGA you can imagine. That's them, only in Germany. And this person, Alicia, she said that first thing they will do is when she becomes a Chancellor instead of Scholz, they will restart the Nord Stream and they will return to buying oil and gas from Russia. AfD was the party that also stands for is the party that also stands for Youth Alternative, which is considered extremist organization in Germany, is considered an extremist organization by law enforcement agencies. And also they are the party that is known because last year in spring, like in winter, spring last year, several foreign spies were arrested inside of this party. There were Russian spies and there were Chinese spies. So it's literally whenever you spit in the crowd of AfD, there's a chance you will hit a spy. So what do I think about them? Nothing good, actually. Again, this is the party that, in my opinion, cooperates with Russian agents of influence, and basically they are Russian agents of influence in Germany themselves.
Well, and when it comes to that particular party, the Alternative for Deutschland, you probably are knowledgeable about or plugged in to some of the details of the coup plot, the Reichsbürger, from back in 2022. I mean, a former MP of AfD was proven to be tied and part of that terrorist organization. So it's not even something that's really under wraps. That's just stuff that's publicly known. It's a situation where maybe some people would argue with me, but it really seems like a political party that's trying to distance itself a little bit, but already has its own armed wings. I mean, that's maybe not a consensus among academics, but it's a thought that I've had.
They're effectively the spiritual heir to the Nazi party.
That's not a positive thing for Germany at all.
Basically, they have this narrative like Germany for Germans and things like that. They are far right, but at the same time, very, very extremely pro-Russian, which is not surprising.
We have another good question here. From Mitch Ashdown, he says, "Do you think the Shadow Fleet will be stopped?"
Regarding the Shadow Fleet of economic vessels that are bypassing sanctions for Russia?
I believe that's what they're. Yeah, there's still civilian tankers and everything, but everybody knows they're being filled with weapons and things like that. So that's how I understand it.
I think that those vessels, which I think it depends. I think that with a quote unquote shadow fleet, because Russia does still have ties within, like the equivalent of merchant marines, naval vessels for economic means of other BRICS member nations. I think you could sanction, you could deter some of those nations from helping. You could intercept some of these vessels, but it becomes a very complex international task because you're dealing with not just Russia, but any proxy, official or unofficial ally nations or organizations that would be helping to run said shadow fleet. So I guess I'm saying it's a little hard to predict.
The other side to that is that most of the Shadow Fleet are using what are called flags of convenience. They're not Russian ships per se. They may be owned by Russians, but they're flying, Panamanian or Cypriot flag
Liberian.
or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it becomes problematic to stop and search them on the high seas because those countries aren't sanctioned. You have to have some sort of consensus and agreement from the host country to allow you to stop and search that ship.
Yeah, precisely. So
one thing you also have to know is like the ships that cut the power and internet lines was a Russian commanded Filipino flagged ship.
Yeah, exactly. We used to run into this all the time when I was working with counter-narcotics operations with the Coast Guard, is that, we'd have a ship that we knew from all the indicators was transporting, 23 tons of cocaine or whatever. We couldn't legally stop it until we got agreement from the host country to allow us to do so. And you're looking at pretty much the same kind of situation with these ships. You have to get Filipino or Liberian or Cypriot or whatever permission to stop and search that ship.
Sounds like there's a ton of red tape going on.
Yeah,
and it could get depending on the relationships between the countries, it could get quite complicated. There was another good question that I think a number of you could weigh in on, especially Slavi. What do you think about the Bob Woodward claim? Bob Woodward is a famous journalist that the armed forces of Ukraine, let's see. Okay, this is a claim then, that the armed forces of Ukraine allowed 30,000 strong group of the Russian Federation to quietly withdraw from Kherson due to U.S. pressure. I didn't hear that one. Slavi, did you hear that one?
I have not. I think maybe the military guys here would have a better answer than.
Bob Woodward is usually pretty reputable too, and that I have to look that one up. That's a stunning claim for sure.
Yeah, I know. He does have claims. I don't agree with all of them, but he has some pretty good insights, I would say. But
I think he's really good on commenting on U.S. politics. The rest of the world, I'm not so sure. That's just my opinion too. So let's see. Starsky and Roman, I want to be conscious of your time today. How are you doing for time?
Well, I would really withdraw in the closest 5-10 minutes, if you don't mind.
Of course. We're so happy you're here. And Roman, we're so happy you're here. Why don't we go ahead and whatever you guys want to say, we'll just do some closing, because I don't want to have you just say, oh, I have to drop out. I want you to, we don't get to see you that often. And I want you to be able to say everything to the viewers that you want to say today.
Everything.
Go Starsky. Okay, Roman, we'll start with you.
Oh, Starsky will left first, I believe. So.
No. Starsky is an officer. He will talk later.
And he is older, like twice maybe.
Twice.
Twice?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I think I will be with you guys more often finally, because I moved. Again, nothing changed much for you. Same gray wall behind me and stuff. But I moved. I finally fixed the problems with the internet, so I will be able to stream with you guys earlier, like we did earlier, right? Every Saturday. And also, I wanted to say that I'm very, very happy to see you here. Very happy to see Annette finally. And of course, all the people in the chat, it's my pleasure to be here, my pleasure to see all those commentaries. I would really like to address that question about the perfect pickles. Because one of our viewers, unfortunately, my screen resolution doesn't allow me to read the nickname. It's like blah blah blah. But what I can say, what I can see is the question: what is the perfect pickles? Just very short answer. So everything starts with like when a Russian boy gets born, right? He gets born in some Tues, and then he grows. He goes to school, where he learns how to drink and smoke and shit like that. And then through the time, society teaches him how to hate everybody, and stuff. And then he becomes an adult, and then he gets recruited and goes to Ukraine. So in Ukraine, he dies, and then he gets eaten by a stray dog, and then stray dog shits, right? Like it takes a shit right there at that place. And a beautiful grass and flowers grow in that spot. Eventually, farmers go there and they plant cucumbers. So cucumbers grow, and that is where you can find cucumbers for perfect pickles. You collect those cucumbers, you make pickles with garlic, with horseradish, definitely, you gotta have that. And the best and perfect pickled cucumbers that you can find, they are sold, for example, in Europe in like Polish stores. I can hear somebody drooling right there in the chat. They can be sold in the Polish stores. I buy mine ogórki babusi. That is like ogórki kiszone, babuni. Yeah, those are my favorites. And generally in Ukraine, you go to like open air supermarket, open air market, bazaar, and there you can find perfect pickles as well as like pickled mushrooms and all kinds of stuff that Ukrainians make. So that's a short answer to your question, my dear friends. What is perfect pickles? Roman, your turn.
First of all, bravo, Starsky. Operator Starsky. And second of all, what's translation of pickles?
That is ну, дивись, pickles in general це типа квашеності. Зазвичай це типа квашені огірки, а так це може означати там ще й квашені там помідорчики і таке інше.
He speaks Ukrainian.
Tak.
Guys.
Tak. Yeah, what he said.
He tried to explain me the meaning of this world. Instead of answering this question, I just want to say, guys, thank you very much for mentioning this foreigners who fought for Ukraine and died for that, because it's still. I really appreciate to hear not only Ukrainians who fight for Ukraine, but also as crazy heroes who just leave their country and join armed forces of Ukraine and fight for that. Because sorry, but because of my PTSD, I still on those topic when you show us the picture of guys like. Almost all of them my age, and some of them has family, and they I can't even say how proud of them I am, because they like I just think of the people from my point of view. For example, for me it's natural to fight for Ukraine because I'm in Ukraine, but for those heroes who live the awesome life in UK, in USA, in Canada, in Europe, from all over the world. Actually, I met a lot of people from all over the world who fight for Ukraine, but still, it's really good to see on such a funny stream also when you raise some serious topic and when you share with the viewers very important part of what's going on, because you see most of the time streamers, they talking about what's going on politicians area, how Trump react on some stuff and how huge ego he is, and some of the people talk about how Frontline moves like and show some maps with some arrows. But less and less people really talk about some. Yes, I can see it. Like less and less people talk about what's the really meaning of war is. It's if we dig deep, like we appear on the battlefield, on the bloody field, where where a lot of people just gave their life and health. And this is just very important, and I want to pay attention on that and say thank you for reminding all the viewers and foreigners, because this is actually what war is. It's okay. Some part of this, of course, it's negotiations and some selling and some deals, but first of all, it's deed of some heroes who gave their lives. Who gave the most valuable what they have. So after that, I'm not in the mood to joking about this new word combination, but it's really good that Starsky has different moods, so we can share different opinion of us. Thank you.
Bro, I completely agree with you, and thank you so much for returning to this topic. On my behalf, I would also like to say this. The world helps Ukraine and helped a lot and keeps helping, and Ukrainians will always be grateful for that. I can speak on my behalf, on behalf of Roman. We're militaries. Also, there's plenty of civilians out there who are alive because the world keeps helping Ukraine. That is the only reason they still can see tomorrow. And those fallen heroes that were mentioned above, they're true heroes for Ukrainians. And I'm really grateful to the United Kingdom that gave birth to those legendary people that we will never forget.
It's always an honor to have. It's always an honor to have both of you on these streams.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing I'd like to say is, I've met Roman in person a couple times in Kyiv, and the first time I met him, we had the same discussion that pretty much happens every time somebody meets a warrior. You call them heroes in chat. They don't like being called heroes. Heroes are the people that passed on or are still fighting. And one of the things I told Roman when we first talked was, we're not calling you hero. We're calling those guys heroes through you. So thank you, Roman. Thank you, Starsky, for coming out as soldiers and representing those guys we can't talk to.
Thank you, Sandy.
I think that it's unfortunate because we've seen it with every single war the world has had. And I do believe this is a world war. We see documentaries, we see programs mentioning all the people that have helped. They volunteered, they gave their lives, the medics, the nurses, every war, and the heroes come out. But I think it's time to change and say that we need to talk about these people and honor them now, not 10 years from now. So maybe we can be that path of change for sure. I hope.
Dear friends, once again, I would like to say thank you, and I will be going offline, but we will see each other soon. We will see each other next week, and we will definitely see each other on Saturday. So see you next time, and be safe.
Thank you, Starsky, and that's such great news. I'm so happy. I didn't know that. So I'm the last to know. See you next week.
Wait, Starsky, where's yours? As always, be safe.
До пустої голови.
Au revoir.
Awesome. Well, we've covered quite a few interesting things. Slavi, have you reached 1,000 subs?
I have reached at 1,007 now. So thank you so much for everyone that helped me. I'm really happy with that.
Thank you, everyone. And I saw congratulations in here, but I wasn't really sure because nobody gave the actual number. So I'm glad that you could be here to pass that milestone. Now we just need to get your watch hours up. Everybody, when it comes to watch hours, you can't just click on a video or something. You have to actually turn it on and leave it on for it to count. I know it in my head somewhere, but I can't recall. I think you have to at least be on for an hour or something, but you can Google it. Whatever it comes up to say, this is what you need to get her watch hours up, because she needs 4,000 watch hours on her video. It's a like over 1 million on shorts. But
okay, Slavi, here's a tip. Make a playlist. Put every video you make into that playlist, and people will hit play and go do their chores or whatever. I have a playlist I play for everybody's streams that I'm trying to build up. And I play that while I sleep overnight.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do have playlists as well. I have they're categorized: Russian propaganda, top stories, updates. But that's a really good tip. Thank you.
We have, if you look at the cumulative years of experience that we have just on the screen now, and with Starsky, it's just a wealth of streaming advice here. So, and I need to also shout out Sakai because he has his own channel and he does fundraisers and he's been so kind to us on all our fundraisers. So Crystal dropped the link. Head over to Sakai to give him some subs, give him watch hours because he really is a good advocate and he does such amazing things and he's so humble about everything he does. So we need to support him for sure too. Oh, you're welcome. I personally want to thank you because you've helped me too. So let me check and see if there's other questions in here. Other than that, we can open. We have about. Does everybody have about a half hour yet? Or okay, Roman, how are you doing for 30 more minutes? You think, or do you want to go?
Yeah, I believe I can do it as well.
Okay, and if you
Thank
need
you.
to go, you just let us know and we'll accommodate that. So let me look at see if there's any questions. In the meantime, somebody think of something awesome to talk about. Okay, question for Slavi. When talking about the women in the Ukrainian army, they say in the Ukraine army, they say there's a strong feminist tradition. Can you comment on that?
A strong feminist tradition. I'm not sure what the tradition is. I'm not a military woman, so I don't know. But I will say Ukrainian women are very, very strong. And in history, it goes back to when the Cossacks were around. The women were actually the strongest out of the male. They had the strong positions. So and they had also military positions because when Cossacks would leave and go to wars, the women would fill those positions, not other men. It would be. So I think that tradition of putting a female at the head, at the top positions to take care of everybody else is a longstanding tradition. Ukrainian women are very, very strong. And yeah, I'm not sure what that specific military tradition is, but just to give you a little bit of a background, maybe.
I've seen some amazing profiles on females in the Ukraine army, and just like the guys who are going, they may have lost a leg or an arm. They're going and retraining with their prosthesis, and they're going back to do something, to fight or to support. And I'll be honest with you, and Commander McMillan, maybe you can comment on this. I was actually in prosthetics in the Navy, but I was mostly head and neck, ears, eyes, noses. And with that kind of injury, you don't see people returning to the front. I don't recall seeing anyone in the U.S. military returning to the front after receiving a prosthesis. And we see it in Ukraine. Commander, have you seen it?
In the U.S. military, it's uncommon, but there have been cases. Generally speaking, what happens is once you have a wound that requires a prosthesis replacement, you are given a pension, retirement, discharge. There have been a few cases where the individual has said, I don't want that, I want to return to active duty, and they have to be able to perform at the same level, essentially, that they did beforehand. There's one case in point. If you've seen the movie, I can't remember, it's got Cuba Gooding Jr. in it, but he's a Navy hard hat diver. He had both his legs severed, and they were going to discharge him. He said, no, I want to return to active duty. He said, well, you have to do X, Y, and Z to do that, and he did. And so he was returned to active duty as a hard hat diver, even though he didn't have legs. He was using prosthesis. Yeah, no, I'm sad that I can't remember the name of it because it's inspirational movie.
Yeah, it was in the time when there was still a lot of racism in the Navy.
Yeah.
And like the character he was playing in that movie's nickname was Cookie, because black people were predominantly cooks in the Navy back then.
Yeah,
So,
you could be a cook or a personnelman, I think it was. That was it.
So him even going to the dive school was big back then, and it's a good movie. You should definitely watch it.
We have Dunk in with us. Dunk, did you know that when I came on, everyone thought it was you using my avatar?
No, this is you using my avatar.
How to get out of the corner
very quickly.
Did we lose Roman? He just popped out because I was going to, we had a request for Roman. There he is. Roman, we have a request for you to give an update on your NAFO fundraiser.
Yes, as I mentioned before, we just we raise money for soldiers for the car with the sniffing brigade, 69 sniffing brigade, and Rig the Ukrainian. So it's like less. It's like 80,000 euro we collect out of 90. So for a little bit more than 1 month. So
there is a comment in here. It's to you, Roman. It says your NAFO campaign jumped with donations. You only have 9,000 hryvnia to go.
No, euro, no hryvnia, euro.
Oh, euro. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to put my glasses on. Okay.
Yes.
9,000 euros. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Both NAFO and the Car for Ukraine organizations, they're doing so much good with, and it's, for me, it feels good to donate to them because we know that those trucks are getting to the troops, they're saving lives, they're helping everything. So thank you for doing that, and congratulations on the success. I think you'll be seeing the end of that very, very, very soon. I hope.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's just actually it's Rig the Ukrainians who I should thank you, because I just was laying down in the hospital and so months ago said, Rig, let's do something. I can't just lay in hospital and just killing myself because it's hopeless. So let's do something valuable for soldier. And he said, okay.
And Rick has been with
some
us.
ambition.
So he's been with us in the chat. Rick's been with us in the chat, so he's been.
Yeah,
watching.
and tomorrow he has a birthday, so it's a lot of good stuff there. For those who know Rick, prepare in less than half an hour to say him hi.
And yes, and we can't wish him happy birthday ahead of time. We'll be breaking Ukraine tradition, so right, we have to do it on his birthday. So
yeah.
So let me look at other questions. Dunk, do you want to fill us in about the amazing things you know about the world?
I've heard it's round. It's kind of bluey, kind of with a bit green in it, and there's some white spots. And in some areas, especially California, it's kind of hot. But that's about all I know.
I heard it's flat.
Oh, you heard wrong.
Oh, I can prove it.
I had to go there.
It's probably what you asked you. The world's 70% water, correct?
Can't you repeat that?
Okay, the world is 70% water.
No, it's not. It's not 70% water. You're completely wrong. The surface is 70% water.
Yeah, but is that water carbonated? If not,
yeah. Then the Earth is flat. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you leave the lid off the Earth for too long. It just goes flat.
We'll have to make this big list of everything that we need to counteract propaganda and debunk, and just do a whole show topic. There was a question in here. Mm-hmm.
How far? How far are you going to go, though? Are you going to go to the birds aren't real and they're all government drones are surveilling us?
Going into the bio mosquitoes.
Everybody, we're having some comments about, my sound. My sound is gone. I'm going to have to refresh, I think. Yep. So I will come back in. Dunk, you take it from here while I come back in.
Oh, shit. What am I going to do? Because I haven't been here, so I don't know what you guys have been talking about. Can anybody hear me? Do I come across okay? Let me just check.
Okay. Now they can hear me. Give a plus if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Commander, there was a question in here. You might have touched on it about sanctions. There's a few good things that have happened where there's a whole new round of sanctions that came out on Friday. There was also a whole new batch of funds that are going to go to Ukraine. Biden is trying to just do like a few last, slam dunks before he goes out of office here. What's your opinion about how the sanctions have been working on Russia to get the war machine to grind to a halt?
I wouldn't say that they're crippling, but they're definitely having an effect. But everybody wants it to be, we turn on the sanctions and 2 weeks later, Russia surrenders. It's not going to work like that. So, yeah, it's having an impact. It's making it hard for them to generate hard currency, to buy components that they need for their military hardware. They have to find all sorts of weird workarounds, which cost them more to, implement in order to sell their products overseas or to bring in new products. So they're definitely having an effect. The one you were talking about that was implemented on Friday is the US, UK, and Japan decided they were going to do some new sanction stuff. It's primarily focused on the Russian, bad habit, the Russian gas and oil industry and their use of that shadow fleet that we talked about a little earlier. Trying to get around sanctions, trying to make it harder for them to sell product, that kind of thing. I think the first delivery of money from the EU for all the assets that have been seized and are frozen in EU banks, they basically are taking the interest that those accounts are generating and have given it to or are planning to give it to Ukraine. I think the first distribution of those funds occurred this past week, and it amounted to something close to 20 billion, I believe.
Mm-hmm. We're going to go to Dunk next to read some super chats and catch up on that.
Sure, no problem. We come in with Darren Vaughan for $4.99. Thank you, Annette, for stepping in. Yes, thank you so much, Annette. You got your lovely shoes on and your big feet and then coming in there stepping all over us. So brilliant. And yes, Darren Vaughan, we do read out super chats when we bloody well get to them. So hold your horses. We have a... what else you got? Demetra Ziganova sent us a donation in. It's a boom fun. It's a Slava Ukraine. We need a translation on that because I have no idea what he's saying. So anyone can say, and the Slava Swino Sabakan Luxon Rezayanum. Yeah? Anybody? No? Okay. Darren Vaughan says another super chat says, ask Starsky to describe a proper pickle. Hi, Salami. Yes, we will next time. He's bugging off. We also have Apocalypse Zoo sent in some donation for the Boom Fund. We have another from Dunk on You 23. Keep rocking, Shills, you shitty buggers. And Sean sends in $4.99. City planning can also influence people's decision to state Scattered families? What's he talking about? Most efficient is not necessarily being long-term, and it sends in some little hearts in Ukrainian colours. And we have Dunk on You 23 is gifted 5 Shills memberships. Thank you so much. We love memberships around here. Tyler Dowley, who is a member, sends in $4.99, says, what's the news about Ukraine? Repurposing damaged munitions. Is there a way to donate funds to these efforts? Oh, interesting. And Linda S sends a message in, member message, gifted 5 memberships. Oh, dear me, how much more we got to... you know they exist. As a member for 6 months, it sends in $5 in celebration of Slava milestone. I'm wondering if the world is finally coming online in thinking. Greg is getting more subs. Greg is lots getting more subs. Wow. Sentence. Wow. Wow. Salute all. And you know they exist. Sends in $2. It says, I like to join Warlocks of Buka. Yes, there we go. I'll better bite those off who read them then. We're all cut up.
Thank you, Doug. I think this has been the funniest super chat readout we've ever had. Roman is cracking up. And you know, Roman, laughter heals. So more laughter. And Canty.
It was for real or just my imagination?
It's good you say.
Did this happen?
It's good you say humor heals because my humor cuts like a knife.
Thank you, Mr. Greenman.
This stream will go down in history for sure. Not sure if it'll be the history books, but it'll go down in history. Let's see here if we've got some. Let's see. We covered NAFO campaign, sanctions. Okay. I wanted to ask this while Starsky was here, and I do want to mention we did have questions for Starsky that we didn't get to, but because he is going to be coming back, I'll make sure that we make notes and we'll queue him up for next time because they're all good questions that kind of look timeless. But one of the things that when we learned that North Koreans were going into being brought into the Russian army, and we knew they were going to Kursk, and forgive me if this is morbid, but we saw them all lined up, covered with snow, deceased in a few photographs a few weeks ago, and then today the headline says, I'm going to paraphrase here, we have proof the Koreans are in the Russian army. And I actually put a note next to this saying, why are we still chewing this? Is this for headlines or it's old news, but they keep announcing it. And even Starsky says, yep, we got 2 POWs. They're alive and well, and they're in Kyiv. But this thing has been going on, and I'm kind of wondering what is the whole reason why we're still doubting whether they're there.
I think it's the Vatniks and the maggots. They've been kind of peddling that it's not true. North Koreans are not fighting for Russia. Yeah. And they've been peddling this for quite a while, just in complete denial. I don't know if they know or just in denial, but yeah, they've been spreading that because, I guess Russia doesn't want the world to kind of understand that Ukraine is not just fighting Russia, they're fighting North Koreans and Iranian weapons and
well, the North Koreans are only fighting if they can get their eyes off the damn porn.
Narcs.
I love Slavi's expressions. She's just like, I'm just going to let that go by me. But that's a really good point that you do have to see facts repeated and repeated and repeated to counteract the propaganda. So thank you for, turning my mind around on that. I'll have a whole new look on that from now on too. And especially to have President Zelensky come out and make a statement, too. The more, top of mind we can keep that. So, Commander, what's burning on your brain? We've got, we have, let me look at the time here. We've got about 10 minutes left. So 5 more minutes of discussion, and then we will do the roundup here.
Sure. one of the things I wanted to comment on was the question that you were just talking about, which is the the North Koreans. And I think part of it is that it's a loss of face to Putin and the Russian army to have it revealed that they can't handle the war on their own, that they have to bring in foreign fighters, that they have to bring in a contingent of North Koreans and such. So they're going to continually deny, oh no, there's nobody here, from North Korea. We haven't brought in mercenaries from sub-Saharan Africa. No, none of that's true. And that's why it's important to keep revisiting that issue and saying, no, we have proof that they are there, to put the lie to their propaganda, basically.
Go ahead, Sakai.
Is it mute again?
Okay.
Or what?
Your audio is not coming through. You might need to reconnect.
Maybe it's problem in his spaceship with connection.
What he was, for those of you, if you didn't, I can put a plus if you can hear Sakai. I don't think they can. Okay, so what he was saying was, and it's a really good point, that this is going to go down in history for the North Koreans, that they participated in something like this. And I don't think it's going to bode well for anybody who's helped Russia at this point. So let me see here. Let me double check last questions. Dunk, do you want to look and see if there's any last donations or super chats while I look at questions? And
well,
then
nothing's come in. Nothing
Okay.
else has come in. Everybody's wallets are shut.
So, Dunk, I announced earlier that all super chats were going to go to therapy for a panel for surviving the stream with me today.
Well, that can go to me then. I'll just lay you down on a couch and we'll talk through things and sort you out. Yeah, we'll just blame it on Dick.
All right. So
Okay,
why don't we start round up? Oh, are you back, Sakai?
Yeah. So has my audio, excuse me, has my audio been breaking up a lot during the stream?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Anyway, I'll just wrap up what I was saying before. Basically, just I think part of it is denying any ties to North Korea, trying to popularize that, because at some point there will likely be a war in the Korean Peninsula. There will likely be some more wars in sub-Saharan Africa, and trying to maintain kind of an element of not really surprise, but keeping people's thoughts off the fact that Russian troops might end up responding in large numbers to assist those who are fighting with them in this war right now. So anyway, that was my thought.
That's a really good point. Let's start wrap-ups. Sakai, why don't we start with you, and then we'll go back around here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Everyone in chat. Always glad to see everybody here on the Shills. And yeah, I guess all I can really say is continue to support Ukraine. And like Roman said earlier, it's not about just maps or politics or what's, currently at the top of the news charts. It's about people. So, soldiers who are risking their lives, who are laying down their lives. It's about civilians who just want to live in peace, who don't want to go through this bullshit, who shouldn't have to. It's about common decency and supporting your fellow man. And I feel like everyone here does exactly that. So I'm always proud to be here and be a part of it.
Well said. Canty?
Some of us support Ukraine with our wallets. some of us support Ukraine with horseradish, and then some of us like Ukraine support Ukraine like Roman with their health, and everybody needs to be recognized.
Good words. Slavi?
Yeah, keep supporting Ukraine. Keep fighting the propaganda. It's very, very important right now. I'd like to thank Annette. You did such an amazing job hosting. Looking forward to doing more streams with you. Yeah, and everybody that came out to watch the stream, the panel, you guys are awesome. Excuse me. Yeah, just thank you so much for supporting Ukraine, everyone. And I believe that's why Ukraine is going to win, is because of people like you. And you're on the right side of history. And Slava Ukraini.
Helen Slava.
Oh, sorry. And thank you, Tim, my moderator in the chat. Thank you so much.
And Slavi and I were supposed to, she's supposed to be on my stream tomorrow. And because of all the stuff that's going on with the fires, she still doesn't know if she will be evacuating. And it's really scary times. And I'm just so much respect to you for doing this stream when you've got all of this going on around you. I remember what I went through. So man, you're strong.
It's supposed to be a hard, very hard night tonight, actually. Afternoon, so it's starting because the winds are coming back up. But I had to come on because there's so much misinformation and disinformation going around this. And Ukraine is getting blamed. And at the same time, Biden announces his last package of $500 million to Ukraine. Of course, MAGA is like, see, it's all Ukraine's fault. California could have been saved. It would be like the same money. But no, that's not how defense budget even works. Or FEMA and defense budget, completely different things. So I had to come on and kind of, set things clear because I'm not in a position to make videos right now. So at least I could come on to the live stream and kind of have a conversation with everyone about it.
And thank you. We all love and appreciate you so much. We're going to go to Commander, then Roman, and then we'll have Dunk take us out because I think we have super chat left. So Commander?
Yeah. Other than my usual admonishment of please communicate with your elected officials and tell them that Ukraine is important to you so we can continue to get support. The only other thing I would say is be optimistic. It isn't, I don't think, going to be quite as bad as a lot of people were fearing.
Hopefully not.
Referring to the orange one taking power.
And on to Roman. Any last thoughts from you?
Just want to say thank you very much for inviting and for such a good company, and of course Sakai and Santi. Cool to see you again, and all new friends like Annette, Slavi, Mr. Greenman. We've seen each other like maybe a few times, I believe.
And I'm so happy to meet you too. I've been behind the scenes and I've seen you so many times, but it's nice to finally get to, I guess, virtually see you face to face. So wonderful meeting you too. I'm going to go ahead and read out thanks to our team, and then Dunk will close us out here. We have Shayna on the Shills account. Thank you so much, Shayna. She is a hard worker and keeps everything going in the Shills account there. We have Liam Wakefield is with us as our troll trouncer. Janine was here. She is here. She actually was posting questions and supers for us. Super chat Matt. He actually reiterates every super chat we have. And Chris Lundy, who is the ever valuable links dropper so that you could all get to the fundraisers and all the channels that people need supported. So thank you to the team for all of your hard work. Dunk, take it away.
Oh, okay. So we do have a super chat that came in from Spider Fate. He says, sends in $5 says, thanks everyone. Slava Ukraini. And I think the same words are going to be said by everybody in the chat tonight. And we're gonna kick off and get ourselves to bed. Look forward to our new show coming soon on the live channel, which will be the Greenland update coming soon. And don't forget to sub to our other channels. We have the 42 News show, and we have the Shills live show, which would hopefully be doing PubChat tomorrow, depending on Dickie's little snotty nosy thing. See if he gets better, and if not, and if also if you're actually smart enough, you might actually be able to log into the Patreon account and come and watch the 42 show being recorded live before we actually put it out to the as a video on the other channel. But that's up to you to do. And what else can we say? Oh, don't forget to hit like and hit share and all those lovely things. Click the notification bell. Click all the buttons and all the bells and whistles you can possibly reach. And we'll see you soon, coming soon. I think there's only one way for us to take this show out tonight, and that's to me to say, kiss me goodnight, Commander Macmillan. Put me in my little wooden bed. And we'll see you soon. Slava Ukraini!
Slava
Herojem
Ukraini,
Slava.
Herojem Slava.
It's over. Go home. Go.